Okay guys, thank you for finding my channel. My name is Dr. H on behalf of Octo Media, and in this series of 10-minute Unity tutorials, I'm going to show you in 10-minute sections how to put this scene together in the Unity game engine, how to make it creepy and eerie in time for Halloween. So let's get stuck in. Okay guys, welcome back. My name is Dr. H and this is another 10-minute Unity tutorial with Octo Media. Thank you for finding my channel and thank you for sticking with this tutorial series. So as you can see, things have come on a little bit in my scene here since the last time. All I've done is I've put a wall around the outside so that the player cannot fall off, cannot leave it, and I've made the wall 4 meters high, which is just about too high for them to jump over it. Okay, in case you're wondering, I've used a different material called brick outer wall, and if you're using exactly the same dimensions as me, so you've got a 5x5 base, then the tiling options were 25 by 2 to get the bricks roughly in the same scale, so it looks like it's the same size of wall and the same scale of wall. There are several different types of light we can use in Unity. I'm just going to start with the basic directional light. So you're given a directional light whenever you start a new Unity project, and if I just go to rotate, you can see that it basically forms the role of the sun. And in fact, if I just rotate round, you can actually see there is a sun in the sky, and this original directional light in here works as the sun. It creates the shadows, and of course if you take it below there, then it creates nighttime. I want a nighttime setting, but I don't think I want to keep this in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm quite simply going to delete my directional light. Now I've got this weird kind of nighttime glow, and if I play, you'll see everything looks a little bit weird. It's still sort of lit by the skybox. So the skybox is this thing all around me that looks like sky. And I'm going to want to turn that down as well, because I really want the ambience to come from my scene. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to Window, Lighting, and I'm going to go to the settings here. And that's going to bring up this options box that I can just tab in with the rest of my inspector over here. So I've got inspector and I've got lighting next to it. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the environment lighting down a little bit, maybe to 0.33 of where it was. And if I play now, you can see everything's kind of dark and creepy. So let's put some light in the scene. Well, the sorts of light we're going to want, I think, is going to be a spotlight. So if we go into Game Object Light, there are 4 different types of light we can work with. We've seen the directional light. I'm going to get to point lights when we look at fires later on. Let's take a look at spotlight first of all. If I create a spotlight and I just bring it out of the wall here and frame in on it, you can see that the spotlight does exactly what it says on the tin. It creates a spot of light on the floor. If I move it up and down, obviously the light dims, it gets further away or more precise, a little bit like bringing a torch closer and further away from a wall. If I just go back into the inspector, you can see I can change the color of the light, I can change the range of the light. If I pull this light up out of its range here, this is its maximum range, is 10 meters. I can drag that to make it further or smaller. I can also change here. I'm going to put it back to 10 meters because it's a pretty good default. I can change the intensity of the light. I'm not going to mess around with that too much now. And I can put shadows on. If you want lights to cast shadows, then you need to activate that option with hard or soft shadows on the light type itself. We'll take a look at hard and soft shadows in a later tutorial. For now, what I want to do is I want to create a street light. If I go and do a quick play test, we can go in and we can see, sure enough, there is the spotlight on the floor. Now if I look up, you'll notice there's no source for the light. I have to create that a different way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a quick street lamp. And in order to do this, because I don't want to be working in the dark, I'm just going to check this button here, which turns the dynamic lights off. And now I can just see what I'm doing while I'm working. In order to create a street lamp, I'm going to quite simply go 3D Object Cylinder. And I'm going to bring the cylinder out here. I'm going to shrink it down. I'm going to pretty much eyeball the dimensions that I want. So I'm probably going to want it to be, well, gosh, about 5 meters tall. And probably a lot thinner than it is. And then I'm going to take it out over here where my light is. Put it in roughly the same place, like so. I'm going to make it 2.5, like so. And I'm going to put it in my scene so it's roughly ready to house my light. I'm just going to drag the metal material onto it. And very quickly, I'm going to create another game object. This time I'm going to use a capsule, and I'm going to use the capsule to be the top of the light. So if I just move it into place here, rotate it round through 90 degrees, And that's going to form the top of my light. Lift it up there like so. And my light's going to come from underneath that. Line those two things up. And then I'm going to create a quick parent and child relationship. I'm going to use this here as my light. And I'm going to put my capsule as the child of my light. I'm then going to move my spotlight so it sits, the source of it sits inside the light here, and just kind of center that up sort of manually until I'm happy with it. So it looks like the light is coming from the street light. There we go. There's a street light. That capsule's a little bit big. I might shrink that down. And I'm just going to make sure that that's textured in metal as well. Okay, now here's the final trick. In order to create a source for the light, what I need to do is I need to cheat. I need to create a material, and I need to create something to put the material on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. I'm just going to take it down, and I'm going to shrink it down like this, because this is going to be my light source. I'm going to set it up in there so that it looks like that's where my light's going to come from. Now, in order to sell the illusion, I need to create one more material here. And I'm going to call this material light source. And up here, instead of using the albedo this time and changing the color, what I'm going to do is come down to the box here where it says emission and just check it. And I'm going to make the color the same color as my light, which in this case is going to be a brilliant white. If I now drag this light source onto this bulb that I've created here and kind of embed it so it looks like it's coming out of the light, then I go and play my game, what happens is I have something that looks like it could be the source of this light on the floor. Now, because the light on the floor is circular, I'm going to make the emitter circular as well. I'm just going to shrink that capsule down to make it roughly circular in shape. I think that's probably going to be enough to sell the illusion. If I put it over the same place as the light source, and then I may finally make the light the child of the capsule. And what I've got now is I've got something that I can duplicate again and again and again in my scene in order to create an eerie nighttime look. Now, in order to create an eerie nighttime look, I actually don't want to use white light. So I'm going to go back into my spotlight and I'm going to change the color to that kind of orangey sodium glow that you see with the nighttime streetlights in cities. I'm going to change it to this. Now, it's very important. I want the light source down here to be the exact same shade of orange. In order to do that, if I look down here at the hex color, this code represents that exact shade of orange. If I just copy that with Command C, and then I cancel that down and go into my light source here, and I open the color for the emission, I can paste it into the hex color box down here, and I've got the exact same shade of sodium orange. Go into my game and test it, and there we are. There's the orange, the weird, horrible orange glow on the floor like that. Fantastic. Now I've got this, I can create a few more of them. I can decide where I want to put them, and I can dot them around my scene, which I'll do in a quick speed mode. And there we have the final version, or at least as far as I've taken it so far. That concludes this 10-minute Unity tutorial. In the next tutorial, we're going to take a look at point lights and fire. Thank you very much for listening. See you then.